Let me just show you the first slide, which is a timeline that we're looking at with regard to e-invoicing implementation. So August 2024 is the first phase of e-invoicing implementation nationwide. So the first group of people which will be affected will be companies, businesses where the revenue is more than 100 million in 2022. July 2025 is mandatory implementation for all. What is e-invoicing in the first place? So e-invoicing is about the direct transmission of invoice data from your own system to your business partners, to your clients, to your customers, or even a government board. In fact, e-invoicing is all about processing of data before this flat PDF that you receive in your mailbox. E-invoicing system by itself, personally, I feel is a good thing. And in fact, on the broader picture, we have this thing called the National E-Invoicing Initiative, which was already implemented purely for the purpose of automating the way we do our business. I think it's fantastic. What NTAC is trying to achieve is this one worldwide, I think 70, 80 countries which are already implementing this. This is how the exchange of information is supposed to look like. There's this more structured model that is a platform for the sharing of information. Now, who does it cover? As you can see here, everybody. It applies to all taxpayers, including companies undertaking commercial activities in Malaysia. This is the law. This is how it operates. This is the way of life moving forward. This is the data versions which are recognized by the E-Level Revenue Board, XML and JSON. It's the transmission mechanism. How do we get the information over to the IRB? There's two options that you can explore. My invoice portal is free, so anyone of us can use. And it's good for businesses without API connection. Of course, the other thing is like for most businesses, I would say 80-90%, we were going to opt for this thing called the API translator, the kind of the layman terminology. This is the summary of the diagram given by RB. Now, e-invoice general application is this. Okay, for all businesses, you need to invoice all your revenue, you need to invoice all expenses, except for certain exemptions. Meaning to say, these people will never issue you a e-invoice. So what IRB is trying to do is this, they're just putting up the jigsaw puzzle of how your overall profit and loss or income and expense statement looks like. This is three things that all businesses tend to use: invoice to issue for the sale of goods or services. Then credit note is to make an adjustment. But rarely in our case, wait, I underbill you, I need to bill you extra. Then I need to issue a debit note. But during the e-invoice era, there's this peculiar fourth document is in the picture, which is called the refund note, where there's a refund of money required. Then I have to be mindful to issue a refund note instead of a credit note. Right? So in bill invoice, how does it work? There are certain situations whereby there is no proof or no e-invoice to substantiate your proof of expenses. The buyer now will have to assume the role as a supplier and to issue the e-invoice and submit to IRB for validation. And this will be used as evidence for the buyer. There's this thing, and I think called consolidated e-invoice, only applicable to those business to consumers. It applies to us when we go and buy things. Now, certain industries, they don't allow consolidation. Meaning to say, if there's no consolidation, IRB would always know your spending pattern, particularly for these high-value ticket items. And this is something just to point out what IRB wants the data behind the generation of this invoice to contain 55 data fields. Areas you need to consider for your business, a few parts. Incentives and grants. Number one, you need to understand the requirements of e-invoicing system. For all those companies and businesses, they need to establish an e-invoicing implementation committee. Where along the way, if wherever there is problem, please seek professional assistance where required.